To give a brief summary of the discussion that went on, and Nirmanushan will translate it into Tamil. With that, we will wind up the first session of the day. Now, to start with, there was a very clear recognition of an ongoing process of the destruction of the essential foundations of the Tamil people. There was a very clear recognition of the right to resist from the part of the Tamil people. The Tamil struggle, as it was mentioned by the Indian delegate, started as a non-violent struggle which followed the Gandhian type satyagraha, and then it evolved into an armed struggle. Both the non-violent and the armed phase are expressions of the democratic right, legitimate right of the Tamil people to protect themselves. And secondly, it was admitted that the breaking down of the peace process dismantled the existing parity of esteem. This is a term that I introduced to the discussion, borrowing it from the Irish peace process. And then it resulted ultimately in the last phase of the war, creating not a simple extrajudicial series of killings, but a series of mass killings. So the difference between these two terms was very clearly highlighted by one of the respondents in the audience. Thirdly, it was very clearly recognized that there is an ongoing process of destroying whatever is remaining in Tamil national life, in Tamil homeland, and in the Tamil political life. And that has to be addressed very clearly. Then the next point was related to the period and the procedure. The period should be the whole period of the construction of the unitary system in the island of Lanka, and the period that led to discriminatory, oppressive, and genocidal processes of the state of Sri Lanka and the movement that resisted this genocidal process. And finally, in the discussion, it was highlighted how the international actors from India to the US and the British government were complicit in this process. Of course, it was not clear how the international actors were complicit in constructing the unitary state, and he referred to it. This has to be further discussed. But it was clear in the case of the last phase of the war, and it was made explicitly clear how the international actors were complicit in destroying the parity of esteem in the peace process. Especially this came up at the last intervention. Now, finally, I would like to make it clear the meanings of the wordings of the first session. It has to be an independent and international investigation into war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. How are we going to make it independent? Can international actors who are complicit be the judges? Could we isolate those who are complicit from those who are at least less complicit. This has to be discussed. Secondly, could we really make it an investigation where it would take on board not necessarily war crimes and crimes against humanity, but the whole area of genocide, which would, at the end, again legitimize the right to self-determination, nationhood, and homeland for the Tamil people. And this is, in brief, the summary of the today's proceedings. And we could continue discussing further areas in the second and the third session, particularly an area related to the UN resolution came up, but it was also very strongly critiqued, and R2P was also critiqued. These issues could be discussed further, and I invite Nirmanishan to give a brief summary in Tamil.